This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio. He is Matt Allen, and we are your KTAR car guys. Heard here every Saturday from 11 to noon. At Bumper Radio, we are helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car repair experience. If you've got car questions, we've got answers, so we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. Today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, a little bit of fact or fiction, taking your texts and phone calls. Seems like every time I turn around, airbags are in the news. Counterfeit airbags deploying, shooting shrapnel out. Airbags, Matt. What are you doing over there?
I'm listening. I'm just reading a little bit. I was reading this NHTSA statement about the airbag recall. I'm sure we've, like you said, Dave, we hear recalls constantly, and then boom, airbag. Okay, people maybe their ears perk up a little bit more. I know I have one of those right in front of me, right?
It should make me nervous.
But yeah, so I mean, we're looking here, seeing the news, and airbag recall. You've got to get in and get your airbags. And so I don't know if there's mass, not exodus, but just people making trips to the dealer. They got to get their airbags recalled. I think maybe we need to slower roll a little bit.
How many of us, though, are apathetic about recalls? I mean, we hear about recalls all the time. Toyotas are running away, with that whole scare, number of years back. And so that was one big one that comes to mind. GM recently with all these ignition switches. And I think GM reports that like half the people that own these cars that are under recall actually go in. I know that I get a recall notice in the mail, and I just stack that thing on top of my dresser. And it's just been sitting there for years, and I never really take it in.
Yeah, well, people don't want to go to the car shop, first of all. And then I got to take my car in this recall, and I need to get we all know that it's inconvenient. But this is one of those ones with the airbag. You probably ought to be paying attention.
Taking some notes.
Like you said, Dave, you get the recall. I get the recall. Customer says, they come in, I've got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I got to go get this recall. Well, if you read it, it's if the car was in the salt and in the Northeast and all the conditions were right, the spare tire was going to fall out because the frame of the car was rusted away. Well, that doesn't apply in Phoenix, okay?
We don't have rust problems here?
No, I'm pretty sure.
Thank goodness.
Not
working on an auto shop.
Not unless you imported that baby from, back east. The same goes with this airbag, though, too. It does seem to be regional. And I am not sure what they're going to do, if they're going to end up recalling all of these airbags. But it seems to me that it's related to humidity, which we don't have a lot of that either. But maybe your car came from back east. Maybe you're driving a used car.
So we put on our Facebook page, just so you know, if you're wondering, we'll talk more about this airbag thing, but is my car one of those cars? And so the problem in the humid areas is corrosion, maybe some of the welds and things. And what's actually happening is when the airbag deploys, it's throwing shrapnel out. So we all know we pretty much have something exploding in our face, and it's a pyrotechnic, so it's not like I don't think there's gunpowder or anything. It's just it's a chemical thing.
I can't pronounce all these words, but this mixes with that, and when that happens, it does this, and it blows up. It creates a nitrogen gas and inflates that airbag super duper duper quick.
And that happens 4 times faster than the blinking of your eyelid. So that's pretty dang fast. So that happens. So you could have shrapnel coming at your face. That's kind of a big deal. And what it is, it's one particular manufacturer. See, when you buy a Honda or you buy a Toyota or you buy a BMW, believe it or not, all 3 of those brands are affected because it's not actually Honda or BMW or Toyota. It's the people that are selling the airbags to them, and it's Takata, I think is the name of the manufacturer. But they had an issue, and they manufacture about 30% of all the airbags installed in the vehicles.
So that fine German automobile of yours actually has a Japanese airbag. And this company, Takata, it makes me want to have some sushi, like tuna Takata or something like that.
Can I get a side of airbag Takata?
So BMW, you could be on there. Chrysler, Ford, Honda could be a driver's side or a passenger side airbag. You might have a Mazda. You're on the list. Nissan, Toyota, Mitsubishi. But then it's interesting. You look through. It's not all the Toyotas. Takata didn't supply them for all the Tundras, but they did for the Tacomas maybe, and they did some Corollas, but not the Camry. So again, it's like you said, Dave. All these manufacturers are buying these group of parts from really the lowest bidder, or who can build us this product to put in our car. So when you get this recall, it's really not fair to say, oh, this GM, this piece of junk.
Yeah, those things are always going back.
Or go rib your buddy. Ha, your BMW is junky. Well, it's not the car. It's a supplier issue.
And people really don't understand how much these breeds are all the same in some ways. So I was talking to a guy the other day, and every conversation I get in with somebody, oh, what do you do? Well, I work at a car shop. Oh, well, I got an F-150 and yada, 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 and it's having a transmission problem. And I tell them, hey, did you know that has a ZF transmission in it? It's actually German. And they go, seriously? German transmission in my Ford? Absolutely. And so people are thrown by that, but these manufacturers all use some of the same vendors to produce their cars. And then it was interesting. I was reading. I didn't know that the side airbags sometimes they use like compressed air as opposed to the pyrotechnic.
Right. I like to tell people in their BMW, oh yeah, that's just the GM transmission in there. Oh my God, they just freak
I know they're
out
like,
sometimes.
What do you mean a GM transmission? That doesn't fit my nameplate.
I'm better than that. No. There's some interesting things about airbags. When we were looking up some of this information, and I've heard some of these stories before. The first ones, I think, the first patents for airbags. 1951, 1953, a German guy, each an American and a German. So, I mean, people have been thinking about this stuff for a long time. In 1970s, GM was putting them in cars that were sold only to the government fleet.
But they didn't really care for it, so they took them right back out.
Yeah, well, the consumers didn't care about them. And I was reading that Ford and GM actually lobbied against airbags. In the 70s, but the consumers, it's all driven by the consumers and what the public wants. They're not wanting to buy it, I guess. So, but it's amazing how times have changed a bit.
Well, we should throw out a text question. If you know what was the first vehicle to really be produced with across all their lines with the airbag, what year and who was that? Go ahead and send us a text at 411-923. You can also text any automotive question to 411-923. But airbags, I remember when they first came out, I was worried about them just going off for going off, and that's not the way they work. Maybe you guys have an airbag light on your car that is illuminated, and you're thinking, hey, is this thing just going to go off at any time? And I think people are maybe a little afraid of that it's just going to go off.
I have never been in a car with the airbag deployed. Have you, Dave?
I never have.
Well, we could call your wife. She's had a couple, right?
She better not be listening. You're in trouble, buddy.
I know. Well, and you read one of these articles, or one of the articles talked about the shrapnel and the metal object coming out when the airbag deflates, and a lot of people are unclear as to why the airbag deflates. It will happen if I'm sitting parked, if I get hit by a car, and it all has to do with deceleration or rapid deceleration. And I believe it said it was like 14 miles an hour. It has to be the same of hitting basically a wall at 14 miles an hour. So you could
essentially pulling your garage a little too fast.
Yeah, you probably will be in the living room if you go that fast to
plus
blow.
Plus an airbag to go off. But they inflate really quickly and they deflate pretty quickly also. So they're saying, hey, it deflates in case you got to keep driving, get away from the bad guys.
And the manufacturers are now doing also a better job of making the airbags more compact and not so integrated, because some cars, they blow. I mean, the whole dash is trash. It
gets expensive.
And, I drive a 2010 Tundra. I was crawling around looking for something on the floor, and I look up, I see the SRS symbol down in the center of below the steering wheel. I'm thinking, so there's a knee airbag. There's all kinds. So we have knee airbags. We have some Lexus has it in the seat belt itself.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you could have your car might have 10 airbags in it today.
Who knows? When we come back, we're taking texts and phone calls. Call us at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And let's just see how smart you are if you want to text us an answer about how long those airbags have been around, what year they came around, and we'll see. We'll see if you're a winner. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE MasterTechs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
It's really coming down now, and that little voice is saying shoulda, coulda, woulda. You meant to call Kaiko Roofing last storm, but you didn't, did you? Now it's raining cats and dogs, and Mr. Shoulda, coulda, woulda is watching a puddle form on the ceiling. If the roof on your home or business is over 10 years old, get rid of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Call Kaiko Roofing at 602-944-4600 for a free checkup today. At Kaiko, we install peace of mind with the finest materials and the most skilled workers, all backed by the owner's pride guarantee. Flat, foam, tile, or shingle, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. Since 1994, Kaiko has repaired or replaced tens of thousands of Valley roofs. Over 50% of our business coming from referrals or repeat customers. In fact, over 98% of our customers say they would refer us to a friend. For more information and financing options, go to KaikoRoofing.com. Kaiko Roofing. We're crazy about quality.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, oh yeah, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
This is Bumper to Bumper Radio, KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we're talking about airbags. We're also talking about anything you want to talk about in your car. And I'm looking at the text, Matt, and I have two answers that say Mercedes-Benz. And before I did my extensive research at Wikipedia, what?
I gotta turn on my microphone. Hold on, don't slow it down a little bit. We gotta get some more of this.
Well, I know.
Don't give up the answer.
I'm not giving. I didn't say what the answer was, but before my extensive research at Wikipedia, I thought Mercedes-Benz. Wikipedia knows everything.
My extensive research.
I was thinking Mercedes-Benz also. That's what I remember as like a fifth grader or something, whatever I was at that time. But that may not be the answer. So if you think you know it, 411-923. It looks like we got Joshua and Sean in open lines at 602-277-5827. I'm going to go to a quick text here. Hi, my name is Chris. I have an 87 GMC Dually. I have two 35/85 16s. I was wondering, can I put two 85/75 16s on it? Did I read that right? Yeah, from 285/75 or 285/85. I don't know. That's actually too much math for me, but I'm looking at those tire sizes, and so everyone knows what's going on. The first number, you're usually going to have three sets of digits divided by a little hash mark, whatever that thing, slash. 285, that's going to be the width in millimeters. And then the next number, 75, is going to be the percentage of the width is the height of the sidewall.
Aspect ratio.
We don't want to, percentage. Right. And the last number is the size of the wheel. So 16-inch wheel. I don't know why you do metric and inches at the same time. That doesn't make sense to me, right? Seems kind of counterproductive.
Most of the cars do,
So, but I'm pretty sure that you can go ask the tire guy. He might know better than me. But it sounds like, hey, we're a little shorter on the sidewall and we're a little narrow on the tire.
I like Discount Tire's website. TireRack.com is another one. You can go in, you select your automobile that you have, and then you can go through the different sizes of tires, and it will make the recommendations on which tires are the most appropriate for the vehicle. It'll have all the specs, what the rolling radius is, all kinds of different information. And I believe on the discount one, there's even a picture. So if you're messing with the wheels and you have a truck, well, I can make my truck white real quick, and then I can see what it looks like with these tires, these rims, go up a size, plus zero size, all the different things. So that's a pretty good resource.
You know what they say about guys with big wheels?
Big tires?
Exactly. We're going to go with Joshua in Mesa. He's got a 2014 Chevrolet Camaro. How can we help you today, Josh?
Hey, guys. How you doing? The reason I'm calling, I was driving down the 202 the other day, and a truck in front of me threw something off and put a nice dent in the panel right behind my door. And I'm trying to get a non-salesman perspective. Is there a do-it-yourself I can do, or am I going to have to pony up and see a body shop?
Did it scratch the paint or just make a dent?
It put a dent and it scratched the paint.
If it were me, Joshua, on a 2014 Camaro, I'm not fixing that myself. That car is brand new. I mean, you might be able to make it look all right now, but then 3 years from now, the paint starts peeling, the Bondo starts coming out. Don't mess with it.
And if it's, I would take it to a body shop and see if it's something that hey, I do want to handle out of pocket, or no. And then the other thing too, because Cooper Rummel, he had hit a sofa, or no, it was an ottoman in the road, and he took it to one of the body shops we recommended, which was New Image Auto Body. When he contacted his insurance, they didn't hold it against him. In other words, he wasn't penalized because it was kind of like an act of God. In other words, an ottoman pops out of the truck in front of you, got no chance.
Well, yeah, that's the comprehensive collision coverage. Maybe it's not your fault, basically. You didn't have much control. Too bad you couldn't get any information off the truck in front of you, but
I would go see a body shop, see if it's a big deal or a little deal, and it's not like you have to buy it. It's in most cases they're happy just to write you an estimate. There's 3 great body shops at bumpertobumperradio.com. New Image, who I just mentioned. We've got First Class Auto Body. Then we've got Kevin at I-17 Collision up in the Northwest Valley. So thanks for the call, Josh. We're going to go with Larry in Phoenix. He's got an airbag answer. So Larry, I hope you're smarter than us. What do you got?
You said 1951, 52.
1951 or 52?
That was some of the first patents.
That's what they said when they said it was invented.
Okay, good guess, Larry. Thank you. I think that was some of the, the first patents were issued. An American and a German, and I forget which one had the first in 1951 and 53. And a lot of people talked about it. I was reading even in 1960 they had a system, and I forget what GM called it, but an airbag. It was a 4-letter acronym for it. And it used compressed air, and it was actually tied to the bumper. So when the bumper got pushed back, it probably had a cylinder that it forced air into the line and blew the airbag out. But the problem with that, it was too slow.
Yeah.
Way too slow.
Didn't happen quick enough. Hey, thanks for the call, Larry. We're going to go with Jim in Santan Valley. He's driving my favorite vehicle, a 2007 Honda Element. That's a man's man car. How can we help you today, Jim?
I love that car, I got to tell you.
That's two of you.
About 4 months ago, I T-boned a guy that turned in front of me. I totaled his car, put $10,000 worth of damage on my car, and no airbag deployed.
How fast were you going when that happened?
Well, I can tell you, I had both feet on the brake and my butt was off the seat. That's how hard I was mashing on the brake. So I was probably going 45 when I hit the brake.
But by the time you actually stopped, how fast do you think you were going?
I have no clue.
All right.
Well, if it totaled the other car, I mean that's a pretty heavy hit, and
10,000 on mine.
And that's strange that no airbags went off, but you didn't have any airbag warning lights or anything on like that prior either, did you?
Nope.
No. Huh. That
I'm just wondering if it may have put it right to the hairy edge where if I hit a good-sized bird, that thing's going off.
Right. Any were you injured at all, or how did you fare?
I was hanging on so tight, standing on that brake that I didn't even get sore.
Oh,
wow.
Well, there we go. You didn't need them.
Well, yeah, we lucked out on that one. So, I don't know why those airbags wouldn't have deployed. And you don't know. If you have an airbag warning light on, that's the other problem. It's just like a check engine light. You don't know if something else is broken. You really don't know what's broken. Which airbag isn't going to work? We talked maybe there's 10 airbags. And nowadays we have at least 2. I mean, you're going to have a driver and a passenger no matter what. But if they don't go, if the light's on, what's not going to work? And And, a lot of cars, we see them in Hondas a lot. The seatbelt switch goes bad. Well, that turns on the airbag light. So it's all part of that system. So you may have an airbag that's not working. You may have a seatbelt switch that is not working properly, because the computer system also needs to know that if you have your seatbelt off. These are smart airbags, too. They're the second generation. They're probably multi-generations past even the second now. But if you don't have your seatbelt on, that airbag, it's going to deploy a little bit differently than it would if you have your seatbelt on. They have the switches in the seats. There's all kinds of components in the system that could fail, and I think most of them will turn on the light.
I learned so much by doing this show with you. I just sit back and I just listen. What am I going to learn from Matt today?
Is that why you call me so much?
Hey, can you help me out on this?
Can you just talk?
There's people that are afraid. My airbag light's on, and I'm afraid this thing is just going to go off. And the airbag light acts like the ABS light also. When your ABS light is on, it just means your ABS brakes aren't going to work. We're just going to be traditional. So if your airbag light's on, your airbag may not work. We may just be like the old days where you just bonked your head on the steering wheel. That was part of the deal.
Yeah, get a face full of glass or something. No. And that's if you're wearing your seatbelt. So we all have to remember, and I get it from my kids all the time, Papa, your seatbelt.
Yeah, I get called out all the time.
And sometimes I put it on right away. Sometimes I'm down the road. But we have to remember they're there to help us. And people will talk about the deaths. We also read about the deaths of a lot of the
children.
Yeah, 100
children dying.
And because kids should not be in front of an airbag either.
Not good.
Car seats. So you got to really cautiously place your children and occupants and use the devices in the car.
When we come back, we're taking more phone calls at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR Car Guys, Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, this is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Yes, we realize this is a long name to remember, but most of our customers know us simply as ADS. ADS is a family-owned and operated, state-of-the-art, full-service automotive repair facility with an expert staff that has helped us earn the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation for the second straight year in a row. We are honored, humbled, and dedicated to providing the same level of service to you and your family. We will always strive to get it done right the first time so that you'll leave with a smile on your face after every repair or service. ADS is a bumper-to-bumper radio approved shop with a long name but a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our number one priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard, ADS proudly serves Ahwatukee, Chandler, Tempe, Gilbert, and Southeast Phoenix. Stop by or check us out at automotiveddiagnosticspecialties.com today.
Hey, Gary McCord here. As a golf announcer, they make me stay quiet. But today, I'm screaming the news about the new PGA Tour Superstore. Believe me, there's nothing else quite like this, people. It's the biggest golf store you have ever seen. We're talking the best names in equipment and apparel. You can even get lessons from certified teaching pros. Excuse me for shouting, but you gotta get down here. Wow, that felt good to let loose. Come shop like a pro at the new PGA Tour Superstore in Scottsdale at East Mayo Boulevard in the 101 Scottsdale Shopping Center.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com.
Fix it or forget it. This is the show that'll help you decide what to do with your car. Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen, and this other guy here with me is Dave Riccio. And for all of you that know us and listen every Saturday, you know what we do. But for those of you that don't, I own a repair shop in downtown Phoenix called Virginia Auto Service. Dave owns Tri-City Transmission in Tempe. And then together on the weekends, we do Bumper to Bumper Radio to help you, help the listeners, public service, if you will. It's we have the nice referral list of the shops. And you know, this group of shops is one thing. It's a group of shops, group of businesses that you can trust. But for a lot of us, it's also a family. We talk to each other a lot. We share information. We call. We bounce problems off of each other. And one of our family members this week had a loss, and we heard nice things. Somebody called in last week and talked about Dave's Car Care over in Glendale at 51st Avenue in Peoria. And there was a woman that worked at Dave's Car, Linda Weber, and she didn't just work there. She was the grandmother to all the guys and made sure that they had things and made them snacks and just kind of was the just took care of everybody. And we lost Linda on Wednesday. And so our thoughts and prayers are out with Dave's Car Care, Dave Denman, all the family of guys over there. So, if you're out driving around today and you're the praying type or think about it, just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And Linda, keep watching over Dave and the group, and Godspeed.
Well, it looks like we've got a board full of phone calls, Matt. We better get after it. We're going to go with, looks like, Matt in Phoenix on a 2012 Toyota Tacoma. Hey, Matt, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you this morning?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Today I have an alignment question for you.
Okay.
My 2012 Tacoma 4x4 started pulling one day, so I took it to the dealer and had them check the alignment. Left it there and came out. They said it was in spec, got the printouts, and of course got busy. And as soon as I got out of the shop, it continued to pull, but I never was able to make it back within the 30-day time period. And so one day I went out and got my tires rotated, and thinking that it may be the tire making it pull, and that didn't help. And all my tires are brand new. So I guess my question is, if it's in spec, and I know fairly certainly that my tires are good and not causing it to pull, what else could be causing it to pull?
Well, sorry, Dave, I jumped right on top of you there. The alignment out of spec.
No, it was in spec. Well, according to Toyota.
Yeah,
according to Toyota.
That's the problem. Let's see, Dave. How do we say this? Toyota, you roll in there. You know what? They've got all these alignment machines. I mean, those things are expensive. And they roll across real quick and tell you you're out of spec or you're in spec or whatever. These alignments are so smart, these alignment machines. Hunter makes a great machine. You name the brand. But what they do is they make the technician so dumb. Really. I mean,
you're not opinionated on this.
No, not at all. Because we've had a few of these. Oh, it's in spec. Sorry, dude. Sorry.
Right.
Well, that specification is a window. Take two windows. I'm looking out two windows right now. They're both 4x6. Okay, and you want to go straight out the middle of both windows. I guess. I don't know. Throw the rock out the window, but get to close as the center as possible when you break the thing. So the kids throw a rock through the window, and both of them hit just right by the door frame. Well, we threw it through the window. Yeah, we didn't hit the center, but it's still in spec. It went out the window.
Well, it's taken out technicianing because, the spec says it's good. Everybody wants a nice, simple answer. Yep, it's in spec. But what the technician has to do is, why is this car pulling? I've got a buddy that works at Jack's Alignment on Thomas Road, and they don't even have an alignment machine, Matt. I mean, they still have some tools that, are like tape measures. But I tell you what, they know how to set up a car to make it drive down the road.
Yeah.
The way it should, and it's not, the technician is still a part of the job versus, hey, the machine's going to give me the right answer, and they don't.
Well, and people don't understand the theory and the math behind alignment, the steering angles and the geometry of it. And on the machine, when, make it green and go. and that's no good. So you could have, I don't even know that you have camber all the way on the left side. I mean, all the way going to one extreme on one side of the vehicle.
But it's still green.
And then camber all the way to the other extreme on the other side of the vehicle. Both of those are still within spec, but they are at their maximum. So you have to get somebody that knows how to do an alignment. Matt, you're in Phoenix, Virginia Auto Service. We do them right. Jack's wheel alignment, I mean, they have old school. That's an old bubble gauge is just as good as a brand new $50,000 computer these days for an alignment too. I'm telling you.
Right. Well, thanks for the call, Matt. 602-277-5827. We're going to go with Ernie in Peoria on a 2004 Kia Sedona. How can we help you, Ernie?
Hey, yeah, I had a timing belt change. I get regular oil changes. Nothing, tranny's okay. Just had the fluid changed about 6 months ago. But I'm having a problem rough idling. Sometimes it jerks. I'm not sure. I had oxygen sensors changed. I changed the throttle position sensor, the airflow sensor, but it still sometimes dies, especially when it warms up. But if I give it some gas and get it going and start going, it stays on. But if I don't give it gas, it dies on occasion, and I'm not sure what the going on. I used to have a mechanic, but they're no longer open Saturdays, and so I've been using this guy that was recommended, and I think at this point he's guessing, because usually when the car dies, my brake pedal goes to the floor. I'm just trying to figure out what it is and what I need to get fixed, or take it someplace and get fixed for me.
Ernie, you mentioned a lot of things. Did any of those things improve the car? I mean, were you doing this work? No.
Okay. I have a mechanic doing the tranny change, also for the timing belt. They're way up north, but they don't do...
Right, but you said that I replaced the mass airflow sensor. Did you pay a shop to do this? Okay.
No, I replaced those myself, so that's something I can do myself.
Okay.
Because I have 170,000 miles in the vehicle, so I figured, they're not that expensive.
Okay.
And, just trying to eliminate variables.
Okay. Well, I mean, at this point, so many people have touched this. It's kind of like we got to start over, reboot, start from scratch. If you have lost confidence in the shop that you're using, there's no way that we can ever figure this out on the radio, over the telephone. It just isn't going to happen. I mean, you've touched on all the things that could possibly be the problem, other than mechanical issues like vacuum leaks or dirty fuel injectors or a carboned up engine or something like that.
I thought you were better than that. I thought you could fix this stuff on the air.
I just rub my temples and send some positive vibe out to Ernie's car. But no, I mean, I'll go out even on a little bit of a limit. You've probably wasted more money guessing on parts than what it would have cost to diagnose that. So you're in Peoria, 51st Avenue.
We just talked about Dave's Car Care.
Yeah.
Great place to start, but somebody's going to need to diagnose it. And the thing I do find is that people are apprehensive about spending money on diagnostic. And for someone who's really diagnosing your car, not just throwing parts at it, it's worth every dollar, because we're not going to do three things at the same time and hope one of them takes care of it.
What if you went to the doctor and said, I'm not feeling good? Oh, yeah, God. My buddy had that thing. Let's cut you open. Let's try this real quick. No, we're going to do some tests. I'm going to go get you some of these pills. We're going to try this surgery, and then eat 2 of these. No, we do that do a little bit differently. So for the people that don't get diagnostics, done, you really should. And Dave, I got to tell you too, on a car like that, if you come in to me and say my car's not running right, it might be $100, $150, I don't know. But when you come in and say it's been to another shop, I've done this, and that, and the other, we've got to go in and make sure that everybody else's work is done right now, and then get to a place where we can start from a baseline. So
it's actually more work now.
It's going to be more money too.
So, hey, thanks for the call, Ernie. I wish we had a better answer for you, other than it's got to get figured out. We're going to go with Robert in Surprise on a Nissan Titan 2010. Robert, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you?
Thank you for taking my call. I've got the Titan. When I switch it to four-wheel drive, everything goes in, it engages fine. When I switch it back to two-wheel drive, the little icon on my dash flashes that it's still in four-wheel drive for a long time. Sometimes it'll switch out on its own. Sometimes I have to put it back in four-wheel drive and then back to two-wheel drive to get it to stop flashing.
Are you going into 4 high or 4 low?
4 high.
4 high. Now, these electric, when we went to, we got rid of the levers that made these things shift. Because even with the levers that made these things shift back in the old days, you had to jimmy with them. You had to take the car forward, maybe back it up a little bit, put the car in drive, put it back in park, and get it to shift in. And that's the way we did it. Now we just put an electric motor down there, and the electric motor still really has to go through all the same orchestrations to make that happen. So when you take it, it goes right into four-wheel drive. We go ahead and take it out. It doesn't necessarily come right out. Sometimes it needs a little bit of wiggling and jiggling and driving the car. So sometimes putting it into reverse and just kind of jerking the driveline, so you might just tromp on a little bit and then back forward. Sometimes that helps free it out, and you might see that it comes right out of four-wheel drive. That is pretty common. Matt, you got any comments about that whole deal?
No, I wasn't paying attention.
You're totally
actually.
falling asleep over there. I knew you were.
No, I was
like, that's not my department. I'm not answering the question.
Transmission? No, that's all Dave. Transfer case? Huh? No, I was looking at some text and some comments about airbags. We do have someone text in. I wish they would text a question. They've been trying to get through for 20 minutes. And it's not always unusual to have the phones are busy. I mean, we've got callers, so if you can, just keep trying to call in, shoot us the text. We'll try and answer. Last ditch effort, you could go to the website and go to the contact page and send us a question, or better yet, instead of sending us a question, go to bumpertobumperradio.com, find the shop in your neighborhood, and give them a call. They'll spend 5 minutes with you on the phone, but don't call them at 7:30 on Monday morning, or wait till traffic has died down a little bit, and that's another good way to get through.
Well, I do want to answer our question because we got quite a few texts about it, and the question was really who was the first one to just across the board put airbags in their car, and what year did that happen?
We had some good guesses, 41 and 41,
they were
60s, 70s.
Some of those were right answers, but not to our specific question. But they were definitely right answers. But I just spent like a fart in the wind. It's gone, whatever that thought was. So I'm missing my notes here, but I was, basically the Porsche was the first with the dual airbag in production.
1987 944S had dual airbags.
And the first Japanese car was the Acura Legend in 1987. I don't know if that was dual airbags. It just had an airbag, which was cool. And then in 1988, Chrysler, almost across the board, went to airbags in all their vehicles. But, I mean, some of those other answers we had, like 1941, that's when people were starting to jimmy around with it to see if it could happen. Back in those days, we hardly had seatbelts, right? I mean, cars were about as safe as, not safe at all.
Yeah, you'd sleep up in the tray of the window. Parents are smoking cigarettes with the windows up, and,
It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Fact or fiction, Matt? Some motorcycles have airbags.
That would be, what do you think? Airbags.
What the heck is airbag on a, when you stop real quick on a motorcycle, you just go ahead and put your arms out like Superman, and just go as far as you can.
If you can keep your knees from getting hooked on the handlebars, it works pretty well. But I have never seen an airbag in a motorcycle, but I have heard rumors. I think 2006, the big Honda Gullwing actually has an airbag in it.
Well, when we come back, we've got Jolie, Lisa, and Lance. You're listening to Matt and Dave on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
World class and in your own backyard. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is just around the corner at 7th Street in Virginia. And for over 19 years, they've been recognized as one of the best auto repair shops in the country. Voted Best Auto Repair by AZ Central, A+ rated by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranty, and complimentary transportation to and from your home or office. Virginia Auto. They're serious about service. See for yourself. VirginiaAutoservice.com.
Hi, Lisa Henry with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty. Have you been thinking maybe the time is right to move, but you're not sure if you have enough equity in your home or if it really is a good time? Well, home values have increased significantly over the past few years, and interest rates are still historically low. For how long? No one knows. But for every 1% increase in the interest rate, the result is about a 10% loss in purchasing power. So it might be a really great time to sell your home and either upsize or downsize to a new home while the interest rates are still low. Contact me via my website at lisareneehenry.com or direct at 480-330-9530 for a no-obligation market valuation on your home and to hear about our global online marketing plan designed to sell your home quickly for top dollar. Again, that's lisareneehenry.com, 480-330-9530. Come experience the difference a truly customer-focused real estate agent can make.
Hey, Gary McCord here. As a golf announcer, they make me stay quiet. But today, I'm screaming the news about the new PGA Tour Superstore. Believe me, there's nothing else quite like this, people. It's the biggest golf store you have ever seen. We're talking the best names in equipment and apparel. You can even get lessons from certified teaching pros. Excuse me for shouting, but you gotta get down here. Wow, that felt good to let loose. Come shop like a pro at the new PGA Tour Superstore in Scottsdale at East Mayo Boulevard in the 101 Scottsdale Shopping Center.
Who
can you trust here in the Valley to repair your ride? This is Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. He is Matt sometimes, and I am Dave, and sometimes we're friends, and sometimes we're not. This morning he was late by 30 minutes.
It's more like 45.
45 minutes. If you want to tick me off, I got 4 rules. Show up on time, do what you say you're going to do, say please and thank you, and finish what you start. And Matt is not an on-time guy, and so a lot of times I have to bite my tongue off so that I don't say much. But his charm gets me through it.
Are we really supposed to be here at a certain time, or we just kind of meet around that time, or how's that work?
Did you not tell me, hey, Dave, I'll be there at 9? Are we going there at 9:30?
I did. I said 9:30-ish.
9:30-ish. Yeah. For him is a 45-minute caveat right there. 45-ish or 9:30-ish.
Usually on time. There's certain things, like I can't stand going to church late. It just, I don't even want to.
Consider this church then from now on, and we will be fine.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go with Lisa in Queen Creek. Looks like she's got a question about an older truck part. What can we help you with, Lisa?
Well, I've been considering buying maybe late 70s or an 80s, maybe even early 90s Chevy or Ford pickup. And I've heard some people say it can be hard to get parts. I've heard other people say that there's actually companies that that's all they do is make old parts for old cars. So I'm just kind of wondering, would I be getting into a money pit if I do that? Or, is it going to be an issue to find parts? Do you have to salvage them? Or kind of what am I looking at if I decide to do this?
I don't know that parts are so much a problem, but what is your desire for this older vehicle?
Oops, I put it. Go ahead, Lisa.
Just kind of want to, and just like the style of the older trucks are inexpensive. It's something that I would just kind of use for hauling hay or, big things to and from Home Depot or something like that once in a while, and nothing fancy.
Mechanically, you're never going to have a problem getting transmission parts, differentials, engine, valve cover, gaskets,
everything's
seals,
available.
spark plugs. Where I think you start to see those problems, and we work on them a little bit, maybe the little vacuum controller for the air conditioning system on the dash, it may not work. You could have a problem with the instrument. It's not even, I wouldn't even call it an instrument cluster then, but
that big dial called the speedometer.
Yeah, a dash unit or something like that. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Is it going to be a money pit? I guess it depends on how much you spend up front and what you buy. So you may want to take that into consideration. And then no matter what you buy, I think you should always have it checked out by a shop. And that's not to say I want this car to be perfect and this 79 Chevy pickup can't leak a little bit of oil. That's probably okay, depending on what you're using it for. But I would stay away from some of those model years. I just can't. I'm thinking like 84.
I'm scared of the 80s when it comes to old trucks.
Well, because of all the emissions.
Vacuum lines. Oh, man, it's like spaghetti.
Yeah, well, the vacuum, the emissions air pump, all the tubing, I would stay away from some of those unless you're in an area that doesn't need emissions and you can do what you want.
Just take it all off. I'd rather have a 70s vehicle than a 1985 POS. That was like partially computerized carburetors, and that doesn't make sense whatsoever on any planet.
Is that point of sale system?
Point of sale system, right? POS.
Very nice. Okay.
Thanks for the call, Lisa. We are going to go with, Matt, who's next? Lance in Tempe on a 1998 Ford Explorer. How can we help you, Lance?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
What can we do for you?
I've got a 98 Explorer that has a rather interesting problem with the emergency brake light on the dashboard. It seems to come on and go off at random. I have been able to isolate, or rather replicate, the condition. It's when you accelerate and then when you step on the brake, it will toggle on and then go off when you accelerate and then decelerate. Okay. It causes the light on the dashboard to switch on and off.
Well, I'm a transmission guy. I'm just going to try and answer this question, and then Matt can correct me later if I'm wrong.
When you're wrong.
I'm thinking, are we talking about the emergency brake light or just that brake light? And that brake light comes on for a lot of reasons. Well, not a lot, but a few. If it's low on brake fluid, and I'm thinking of the fluid sloshing in the reservoir when I'm stepping on the gas and I'm accelerating quick and I'm slowing down quick, I'm thinking that little float that you can find in that reservoir is going up and down and up and down, and I think that's what's turning the brake light on. So I don't think it's anything related to the emergency parking brake. and there's not necessarily a big fluid leak, but maybe the pads are worn down and all the fluid's down in the system. How did I do?
You did all right. Not too bad for a rookie. Well, I would be looking at the brake fluid first. So there's a switch on the parking brake itself that will turn that light on and activate that. This should be a simple single wire. It grounds out to complete the circuit and turn on the light. So you'll have a switch on the parking brake. You do have the switch in the master cylinder, and that's just a float. And I think on the Ford, if I remember right, it's just a very dense piece of foam with a magnet attached to it. And when it's floating up, the magnet obviously is up high. Down in the bottom of the reservoir, it's not even in the reservoir. If you look to the side of the reservoir, there's a wire going in, and there's a clip, or a sensor that clips into the wire there. And when the magnet is down, it completes the circuit and causes the thing to ground out and turn the light on. So that could be that we find that those floats just get saturated and they're not as buoyant as they should be.
You know, I find that I float better now than when I was a young kid. When I was a young kid, I sunk, but as the years go on, I'm more and more at the top of the swimming pool. We got to sneak in Jolie. She's got a 1996 Duramax. How can we help you?
Yes, hi. My name is Joey, actually.
Oh, okay. So our screener, she threw us for a loop.
Yeah, but I do listen to your show every Saturday, even though I don't live in the valley, because our stations here suck.
Fort Huachuca, we should clarify that. Okay.
But I'm actually in a little town next to Fort Huachuca, Sierra Vista, but our stations aren't nearly as fun as this one is.
Well, thank you.
But I have a question for you. We recently put a new PMD on our Chevy because our engine wouldn't start over the summer, and it's actually a family vehicle. My father says that when he starts it up, sometimes, like in a lot of cases, it'll take starting it a second time for it to fire up. He said he'd like it to fire up a little more efficiently. We're concerned that we might burn out that PMD, so we're thinking of doing a combination of relocating and putting in a cold air intake, because we know diesel engines get pretty hot. And
Joey,
when he does start,
time on one second. What year is this truck again?
It's a 1996.
And it's a diesel?
Yes, it's a 6.5 Duramax.
Okay.
We're going to put you on hold. We're going to have to help you after the show because we're running up against a break. But I want to thank everyone for joining us. If you're looking for a friendly, honest, competent shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. We are there. Be sure to like Matt and myself on Facebook. Thanks, Bree, for running the dials. You don't want to miss next week. We're talking about brakes. Anything you want to know about brakes. Matt and I took a trip to a brake manufacturing plant in California, and we've got the factory coming on with us next week, so you don't want to miss that. Remember never to text and drive. From all the shops at Bumper to Bumper Radio, have a safe and fun weekend full of peace and joy. We'll see you next week.
Summer's winding down, Dave. It's back to school.
Yep. Check out my new Scooby-Doo lunchbox, Matt. Cool, huh?
Yeah, nice, Shaggy. And did you write your What My Car Did for Summer essay?
What? Is that due?
Join us Saturdays, 11 to noon, for Bumper to Bumper Radio on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
And for the best car repair and body shops you can trust, it's bumpertobumperradio.com. Drive in anxious, cruise out feeling fine with Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Golf fans, it's time to celebrate. This is big, and we mean really big. Come join Bunker to Bunker the Golf Show as they broadcast live on Saturday, October 25th from the grand opening of the new PGA Tour Superstore in North Scottsdale, just south of the 101 on East Mayo Boulevard off Scottsdale Road. More than $30,000 worth of free stuff will be given away to the first customers who visit. Callaway irons, tailor-made drivers, rangefinders, apparel, footwear, balls, rounds of golf, and much more. This is a big deal. Don't miss it.
Hi, Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission and co-host of your Bumper to Bumper radio show. Did you know that 1 out of every 4 transmissions is replaced in air? Transmissions are the most complicated part of your vehicle and misunderstood by so many. At Tri-City Transmission, we diagnose over 200 transmissions every month. We know transmissions. Don't be a victim of transmission malpractice. Protect yourself with knowledge. Download our free tip sheet, Top 10 Reasons Transmissions Are Replaced in Air, at TriCityTransmission.com. That's TriCityTransmission.com.
The lazy days of summer are coming to an end, and the crazy days of back to school, daycare, and kids' sports are upon us. Hi, I'm Matt Allen, owner of Virginia Auto Service. Don't let servicing your car add to the chaos of your busy schedule. Live or work in Central Phoenix? Virginia Auto Service is right next door at 7th Street in Virginia. We'll pick you up and drop you off